Afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon, Chipo. Hi, how are you?
Let's just wait for everyone to settle in. Just waiting for everyone to settle in. Okay. Good afternoon to everyone who's joining us. I can see the number of attendees is increasing. Good afternoon to you all. Okay, we're just waiting for our panelists to settle down. Just give us a few minutes for our panelists to settle down. Very good afternoon to everyone joining us. We're just waiting for our panelists to settle down. Thank you so much for joining us. Good afternoon to everyone. Just waiting for our panelists to settle down. Very good afternoon. I can see the attendees are increasing. Afternoon to you all. Just waiting for our panelists to settle down. Give us just 2 more minutes. Thank you so much for joining us. Good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon, Chipo. How are you?
Great, thanks. How are you?
I'm great.
Awesome. Seems like I've got all my panelists now. Okay, great. Awesome. Okay. All right, so a very good afternoon to you all. My name is Chipo Mandala. Welcome to our first of many series webinars. Okay, do we have all our panelists?
Thank you, Chipo.
Do we have our panelists? Okay,
yes,
great.
Thank you, Chipo.
So welcome to our first of many series of webinars. What we're dealing with is an enemy whose strongest weapons are fear and intimidation. The way we do business has changed as a result of this pandemic. For some, it came as a shock, and many were not prepared. This crisis has catalyzed huge changes. And obviously, companies have to look at aspects such as digital marketing, e-commerce platforms, remote working, and basically maintaining an online presence. Some businesses had to actually diversify their offering. This discussion is taking a more futuristic approach, where we want to talk about how business should start operating in future. Let me just say that Utande as an ISP stands as a backbone to our discussion today. By providing connectivity solutions which cater for home users and SMEs, our clientele is a cocktail of NGOs, tourism operators, farmers, and schools, all on our VSAT broadband solution. So, as a business, in the past weeks, we have realized an upsurge in the number of requests of businesses in need of connectivity, requests for upgrades, web development, remote working solutions such as Office 365. This is conclusive evidence that businesses have seen the need to maintain an online presence. This brings us to our topic today, which is businesses embracing an online collaboration post-COVID-19. Right, so in light of this topic, we have an amazing panel of generals in the industry who are going to help us with insights, solutions, and strategies and tactics to embrace online collaboration post-COVID-19. So let me take this opportunity to introduce you to our panelists. We have Enya Zimunya. Enya is the head of marketing and operations at Marketers Association of Zimbabwe. Hi, Enya, welcome.
Hi, Chipo, how are you doing?
Great, thanks. Good to have you on board.
Thank you.
Okay, next we've got Frank Marembo. Frank is the managing director at White Horse Inn Hotel. Frank, good afternoon.
Afternoon, Chipo, how are you?
Great, thanks. Good to have you on board.
Thank you.
Okay, our next panelist is Ngoni Katsamba. Ngoni is the head of business and co-founder at Solution Space. Good afternoon, Ngoni.
Hi, Chipo.
Hi, good afternoon,
Hi,
Ngoni.
Thanks for having me.
Great.
Can you hear
We're
me?
happy to have you. Then we've got Costa
Great.
Juta. Costa Juta is the co-founder at Picture Hub Zimbabwe. Good to have you, Costa. How are you? Hi, Costa. I think your mic is muted.
Hi, Chipo.
I'm good,
Thanks for having me.
We're happy to have you here. Okay, now that you've met our panelists, let me just say that I'm excited and looking forward to the next hour of chatting with you. Let me also welcome our audience. Thank you so much for joining us. Please drop us a comment in the Q&A section and I'll address them to our panelists. So what you can do is that as our panelists are responding, feel free to drop in a question and we'll directly address them to them, right? So thank you so much for that. As I'm just going to prepare our panelists for the questions that we have this afternoon, I'll head on straight to Costa. Costa, just before you answer, just before I ask you rather a question this afternoon, just tell us a bit about your organization or your business, what you do, or your type of customers. Just briefly, please, before I ask you a question.
Okay, thanks, Chipo. So, Hub is a content creation company. We started taking photos for weddings and video, and then we branched into corporate work. So now our portfolio consists of both corporate work and then stuff for families and couples.
Okay, great. That was nice and brief. Hi, Costa.
Yes.
Okay.
Not yet.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I didn't hear that.
Okay, so let me get into my question now. From social distancing to curfews to government mandated closures, businesses have been suffering hardships. How was your business affected during this period? And what have you done to navigate this?
You're right in saying that it hit us all by surprise. It's something that no one could have forecasted, to say, okay, in the middle of the year, we're going to be stuck in our homes for a couple of months. And for us, like I explained, we have two sides to the business. The families and couples side took the biggest hit because if you're not allowed to have events, that pretty much then means that you can't go out and get business. And then on the other side, we've got corporate work that has continued because of the need for content creation. You know, we have had requests to do COVID-related content, whether it's to communicate with employees or communicate with different stakeholders for different businesses online. So for us, you know, it has affected us in a way, but fortunately, because we have a content creation side for corporates, we've remained open.
Great stuff. You know, I realized that, you know, this whole situation really affected business, because even in our business, you'd find that clients were in a rush to get orders for laptops and hardware. Our U shop for hardware in Avondale was so busy because businesses had to, you know, had the need to migrate to internal collaboration tools. So I totally get you how it affected you in your business. Okay, so let me just head on to Frank. Frank, I'm going to use this example just because I can. Okay, so you've been Utande's client in connectivity for years, and your business has been extremely affected, yet you have maintained an online presence. Okay, so my question to you, Frank, is that you're obviously in an industry where, you know, this situation, the COVID-19, has affected you quite a lot. There's a headline that actually says that coronavirus dismantles tourism, one of Zimbabwe's biggest economic drivers. So what have you done as a business to diversify?
Thank you very much, Chipo. I'd say in the interim, we're not looking so much at diversification as opposed to adapting to the challenges presented by the scourge of corona. This, in a sense, entails, okay, it's imperative that we maintain an online presence, as traditionally our bookings and reservations. I think the communication has been via internet and everything. So it's important that we keep that going, as well as developing future strategies, like say the e-conferencing, even with people in rooms, so that we can accommodate the dictates and the safety measures posed by the corona pandemic.
Great stuff. Wow, that's insightful. Okay, let me just go on to Enya. Enya, most business leaders have decided to launch digital transformation initiatives to keep businesses running as smoothly as possible. My question to you is that what can businesses do to maintain an online presence? Just as Frank was saying that, you know, they haven't gone through to diversify as such, but then what they want to do is to maintain an online presence. So as they're doing that, what can business do to maintain an online presence?
Thank you very much, Chipo. Before I respond to a question, I'll just introduce the organization that I am with currently. I head the marketing and operations for Marketers Association of Zimbabwe, and we are a membership-based institution. And we mostly focus on professional development, especially in the marketing profession. And what we've noticed, especially with the COVID-19, was generally the need to remain online and to maintain an online presence, especially as we interact with our members. Otherwise, we're going to remain irrelevant. And secondly, we also offer online training programs, especially in digital marketing. And most of our training has been mostly face-to-face, if I may say. So due to COVID-19, we had to totally migrate. We had to move in very fast so that we still maintain our lessons and people get to learn. So I think this challenge is exactly what our businesses need right now. And for them to maintain an online presence, there are possibly three things that I'll just share for now, and I hope the other panelists will then pick on it. The first one is obviously the need of a website. It's very important that companies invest in websites. And I think the challenge that we've been having is that many companies have just been taking, you know, the corporate brochure kind of approach, whereby you just come up with a website for the sake of the website. But COVID-19 was sort of an eye-opener for everyone, because suddenly companies wanted to not only be present online or visible online, but also to maintain their revenues. And we noticed that many companies now were now trying to make sure that their websites had e-commerce capabilities. We saw quite a number of corporates now trying to convert their website into e-commerce shops. And I think because of the COVID-19 pandemic, that is very important. You not only need a website that just gives information, but you need a website that enables you to trade and to have customers to make payments, you know, with all the security features that are needed. So that's one thing that is very critical. I know that some organizations at the moment are still working on that, and it's been 5 weeks. I don't know where they are getting their revenues from. And then the second thing, you need your social media channels to be on point as well. You need to talk to your customers. Many of your customers are either on Facebook, many are either on Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. So you need to make sure that you share captivating content, not just for sales, you know, because the moment you are always just selling, people get tired of you. People are looking for answers. People are looking for content. People are looking for ways of getting help. And once they get that help, they can then be converted into customers. And then lastly, you also need, you can use to maintain online visibility, you use your social media platforms to advertise your products. I think for now, let me just share on those three, and then I think the other panelists can then add on to what I've just said.
Great, thank you so much, Enya. That's quite insightful. You spoke about e-commerce, and e-commerce has been around for some time now and has matured in the past decade. And you find, like you're saying, people were ill prepared and people were in a rush, you know. Maybe heading on to Ngoni. Ngoni, my question to you is that what e-commerce strategies are pertinent for the future? Please do introduce yourself first, then you can head on to my question.
Great, thank you, Chipo. Kindly confirm you can hear me before I proceed.
Yes, loud and clear, thank you.
Great. So I'm Ngoni Katamba, my full name. I am of business, also co-founder at Solution Space. Solution Space is a digital marketing agency that is data-driven, and we're HQ'd in Joburg, South Africa, but we also have a presence in Zimbabwe. We also have a presence in Kenya. For our product lineup or service lineup, we're experts in branding, we're experts in web and mobile app development, and we also offer online advertising services via different online advertising or marketing channels. In terms of our customer portfolio, we've worked with clients from across the world, basically. But in Zimbabwe, our biggest clients have been Zimnet, Generation Health. We've also done a bit of some work for Cresta Hotels. So we do have a bit of experience of how the digital landscape works in Africa. So our Solution Space was founded on the belief that Africa's narrative is not the best narrative. When anyone or everyone talks about Africa, it's always about the dark continent, nothing good comes out of Africa. So we set up Solution Space with the vision that through positive messaging that can be achieved by businesses through professional marketing, creative marketing, and the use of the latest technologies, Africa's story can change. So that is the founding vision for Solution Space. And I think that's in a nutshell what Solution Space is. But if you feel like, if any of the attendants feel like they need to know more about us, they can just look up online. We have a very detailed website which talks about us. As to your question, yes, e-commerce has been around for a while. And in different parts of the world, it has matured. However, I would like to say that in the African context, and in this case, zooming in on Zimbabwe, it has not really matured. Why? Because the different organizations or companies or brands that try to use e-commerce websites, etc., have not yet fully managed to capture customers at every step of the customer purchase journey. So for a customer to make a purchase, it's a process. In basic marketing terms, we call it the marketing funnel. So a customer sees you first, and they see you through online advertising. It can either be a Facebook post or a Facebook ad. That's a good thing. Most companies in Zimbabwe are doing that. The next step, you need to take them to your website where they can actually go in and then interact with the product that they would have seen on the ad to help them make a decision. So this is where you take them to your website, where you have your product cataloged, you have your product information, pricing. They have nice pictures of, of what the product looks like and what it might feel like. And then this is where most Zimbabwean and African businesses end. They then don't allow customers to make orders online. They don't allow customers to make payments online. And then they don't allow customers to, receive or get a delivery of a product whilst they're in the comfort of their home. So for me, that's what full e-commerce is like. So for me, if COVID-19 is really going to change market dynamics as it is, or with the rate that it is right now, businesses of all sizes need to come up with an e-commerce strategy that allows them to capture the whole customer journey, allow customers to place orders online, allow customers to pay you online, and have a logistics system that allows you to deliver products. If in Zimbabwe, you can find a guy with a scooter or motorbike, pay him commission to deliver a product if you don't want to do it yourself. That's if you're a small business. If you are a big business, you can have a logistics system that allows people to actually, get delivered, done at their homes. That's in a nutshell what I think should be the next step for e-commerce in African and Zimbabwean businesses.
Thank you so much, Ngoni. That's quite enlightening because, we have seen through the customer journey, it just stops halfway. There's no method of payment. There's no platform for you to make payment. There's no that buy now or shop. There's somewhere that we're cut in between that customer journey. So I can totally relate. Enya, let me just swing back to you quickly, considering what Ngoni was saying just now. Okay, as a business that prides itself in cloud computing solutions as Uthandi, we know that businesses that use this solution will not buckle under pressure, okay? Why? Because obviously they've got that digital payment platforms, etc. So my question to you, Enya, is that what is the importance of having that online presence?
Thank you so much, Shipo. I like the insights that Ngoni is bringing in, especially on the website itself. And what I just want to say is that it's very important for companies, whether you're a small to medium enterprise, whether you're a sole entrepreneur, or you are a big business, to be online. The first thing is that that's where people are. I think in 2019, our internet penetration was over 62%. And I believe now it's even higher than that. So traditionally, we used to use different via channels to reach out to our customers. But unfortunately, most of our customers are not there anymore. The bulk of them are online. So as a corporate, you just need to be where your customers are so that you engage with them, you listen to them, you get insights from them, but also you make sales. I think that's the first thing. And then the second thing, being online helps you to build your brand. People buy from things that they know. People buy from people that they can actually see credibility. And I've noticed that the digital platforms help you to build your particular brand. You can be either a small to medium enterprise, you are not known, but if you are able to come up with proper social media strategies and channels, and you make your brand visible, and there are many testimonials that are coming in from those who have used your product, you are able to build your brand online. So it's very important for companies to take note of that. And then the third thing is that you are also able to transcend geographic boundaries. If you are using your brick and mortar and you are just located, somewhere along Josen Moyo there, someone in Mutare is not able to reach you. Someone in South Africa is not able to reach you. But once your business is online and your presence is there, anyone can reach you, anyone can buy from you. And once you have got the payment solutions, you easily get your foreign currency, so it's quite important. And then lastly, I'll just talk about the issue of cost effectiveness. As a marketing person, I know that advertising budgets are quite a nightmare. Right now, there is a lot of revenue. There's a lot of revenue losses due to COVID-19, and advertising budgets are shrinking. However, if your business is visible online, you can take advantage of the cost-effective ways of advertising. You know, you don't have to break a bank. If you're a small to medium enterprise, you might not have the huge budgets of possibly setting up billboards. You know, you may not have a huge budget of going to print. However, you can reduce your advertising expenditure by being online. You know, you take advantage of the different platforms that are used. If you have managed to build organic followers who love your product, you easily just notify them. You know, so I think those are some of the benefits that you get by being online. And you don't really need to be a big corporate to do that. As a small to medium enterprise, you just come in. I believe social media is actually, online presence is actually leveled the playing ground. You know, as long as you're able to communicate and you talk to your customers and you reach out to them, you engage with them, you can practice your business quite well. There.
Thank you so much. That's very informative, Enya. You did say that you need to be where your customers are, and you know that's quite something that is relevant. That's an online collaboration tool that obviously we need to embrace going forward. Frank, you know, as we heard all this, I was just thinking of the tourism sector, being where your customers are, right? There's a headline that said that about 90%, you know, of the bookings were canceled. So there were cancellations of bookings of about 90%, and I'm sure they're going up. This was from the Hospitality Association of Zimbabwe. That is the one that reported this statistics. Sorry. Okay, so going forward, as a business in the tourism sector, my question to you is that how is business going to go forward post-COVID?
Thank you very much, Chipo. That is, those stats are true indeed. I think most hotels countrywide and globally have closed because people use hotels after traveling, and traveling is not as possible or is easily accessible as it was before. Looking at that post-COVID, I think tourism players, they also need to think out of the box and look at diversification, at least to cover your short-term overheads. Maybe looking at things like having short-term training courses on cookery, that's readapting your kitchens and things like that, along those lines. And then look at developing ways and systems that encourage the client, the tourists, to feel safer coming in. By this, we're looking at things like investing in remote check-in technology, self-service, room service, encouraging people to use room service as opposed to the restaurants, and investing in dispensing machines, so that things that reduce human interaction, but still afford them, but do not compromise on the service delivery.
Yeah. Quite insightful right there. Thank you so much, Frank. Costa, you're in the creative agency, right? We need those creative juices right now. So as a person running a creative agency, what sort of things do you believe are vital going forward with regards to those in the creative space? Then part B of my question is that how would you also maybe diversify your offerings? Because like companies had to ramp up their communication efforts significantly and quickly through online collaboration, including being flexible in introducing new tools of diversification. So part A is, what do you believe is going to be vital going forward? And part B is, you know, what would you also diversify? How would you diversify your offering in the creative space? Hi, Costa. I think your mic is on mute.
Hi, Chipo. Thank you for the question. So I think like Enya and Goni highlighted, I think we've reached a point where it's not an option to not to decide whether to have an online presence or not, to have a Facebook page or not, because like Enya said, I mean, we're 5 weeks into this lockdown and some people are still having discussions on whether it's a good idea or not. And the sad thing is that while some people are sitting down and discussing whether it's important on whether to have a Facebook or Instagram page or not, some people are keeping their the market engaged, you see. And I'll give an example of Fresh in the Box. You know, these guys, they deliver fresh vegetables, you know, and this business started before COVID. You know, they developed the systems, and the founders of the business are quite active on Twitter, you know, and respond to people. And the thing is, now when you're not able to open your farmhouse or your business, guess what? The businesses that are able to, or that have had invested in those systems, those online systems where clients can reach them online, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and are able to deliver using motorcycles or whichever mode of transport they can, are surviving, you know. And at the end of the day, you know, I've heard a saying where it says it takes about 21 days to change a habit. Now imagine the consequences of buying behavior of clients. If I have spent the last 3 months or 2 months buying veggies from Fresh in a Box, buying pizza from Joy's Pizza, and all these other services, you know, like Munch, where you can order your food online. It's no longer, if you want to survive, I think post-COVID, I think it's not an option. Rather, it's a necessity. Now it's now an option of, like what Ngoni is saying, we shouldn't just stop at having those pages. We should go all the way to a point where a client does not have to come to a physical location. You know, I can look for a product, order a product, and the product is paid for and it's delivered in the comfort of my own home. I think that's where we need to go, and I feel like that's what's necessary. And in terms of things that we can do, the second part of your question, I feel that collaboration is key in this environment. You don't necessarily have to invest in new infrastructure, because when you look at the time that we are in, the overheads that your business has, you really have to look at that. What's necessary, what's not necessary. Where you can collaborate, let's collaborate. I might have the product in terms of the actual good, whether it's the vegetables, whether it's the pizza, whether it's shoes or whatever it may be. I can find someone to collaborate with, whether it's a content creator who then creates content for me, and somehow they get something out of that. And I can also collaborate with a delivery company that is able to deliver those goods. Maybe I can even collaborate with a company that actually sells the vehicles, that instead of some of those vehicles lying idle, maybe a portion of those vehicles can be used to set up some sort of delivery mechanism. So I think it's a very important thing where if it's a small to medium enterprise, it might not be wise to be forking out large sums of money, investing in new systems and manufacturing capabilities. Maybe it's now a matter of looking at your network and even some of your clients to say, okay, how can I leverage the people I know and the businesses that we're not necessarily competing, but we probably serve the same market. Maybe retooling and not necessarily going all out in terms of creating and investing in new machinery, but maybe finding ways to use what we already have, because we do not know how long this COVID thing will last. You know, we might be out of lockdown in maybe the next 3 days, or maybe the lockdown might be, we might be under this for the next 18 months. So the next steps are really critical and need a lot of thought into the next steps that we're going to take.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Costa. You're talking about business synergies right there and mutually beneficial relationships right there. You don't have to have it all. You can always partner with someone in the industry. You can always partner with an ICT corporate. So that is quite profound. Thank you so much for sharing. With that, we obviously want to know, Ngoni, companies want to have a digital relevance, you know, just like Costa was saying. Companies would love to have a digital relevance, but they fail at some point. What services, in your opinion, can enable businesses to have that online presence?
Great question, and thanks, Costa, for laying the foreground for this question. For me, COVID has kind of fast-tracked the fourth industrial revolution, in the sense that at some point we're all going to be online, and at some point businesses were going to catch on, but not everyone was expected to move with speed, and not everyone was thinking of online technologies as an effective you know, channel or effective channel to stay alive. Effectively, they were viewed as luxury by most businesses, especially the small ones. However, now COVID has made people and businesses realize that without online technologies, you can actually disappear. If you disappear tomorrow, you're not relevant at all. And they've also realized that some online technology is actually more effective than your traditional ones. So what this has done is it has created two scenarios. It has created a lot of competition online because everyone now wants to be online, everyone wants to have a voice, every brand is competing for space. And also more people or more customers are online. So this has created an opportunity for businesses of all shapes and sizes. And services that are available, we have a wide range of services that are available. But the important thing is for a business to understand its audience, to understand the objectives that they want to achieve, and to also understand the industry and what technologies or services that are available or that work for their industry. But without trying to cast a one-size-fits-all response, there are services like Facebook. Facebook has over 6 million users in Africa. In Zimbabwe, I think we've got close to 1.1 million users on Facebook. And these are people who are interacting with the platform regularly. To top it off, most of these people are consuming Facebook content on the go, right? So Facebook is a good channel that you can use to engage with customers. However, caution should be taken because Facebook has changed its algorithms. Maybe 3 years ago, 2 years ago, if you had 1,000 people following you, you post something on Facebook, there was a high chance that over 75% of those people would see your post without you spending any money. But right now, Facebook has changed. With their new algorithm, less than 5.5% of your following will see you. So you have to also now start looking at other alternatives of effectively using this channel. The post boost, you put up a post, and then you throw $10 or $20 behind it so that you encourage more of your audiences to see that post. There are also ads called Facebook link ads or native ads. These are ads where you actually pay money to appear on timelines of people who do not follow you. So this is effective in the sense that someone does not have to follow you for them to see your ad. And you can target people based on their interests, what they liked before, what they've watched on Facebook, etc. That's Facebook. Another channel that is very cost effective is Google. And there are 3 options on the Google network. You can either use Google Display Network ads. These are programmatic adverts that follow you based on your browsing habits. And I'll use an example. A lot of us in Zimbabwe have interacted with a car on B-Forward or SBT Japan. You know, you like a car, you look at the pictures, and then all of a sudden that car starts following you everywhere you go. You're on Candy Crush, it's there. You're reading the news on Herald, it's there. That's what is called programmatic advertising. And it's very affordable. For $10 to $20 a month, you can actually have your product appearing in front of people in your target audience whilst they browse the internet. Another option is paid search. You pay to appear on the first Google page. And research states that 75% of all internet browsers, that people who use Google, do not go past the first page. So if you pay, you actually appear on the top 5 results. And when someone searches for something that is aligned to your business, your website appears. That's also another one. And then last but not least, I've talked about the marketing aspect. I'd now like to talk about the business operations aspect in relation to what Costa said. Working online or working from home. I know it might sound like something that is very simple, something that is very basic, but it's a strategy that can be used by small businesses to stay relevant. You don't need to be paying hefty office rentals for your business to operate. And you don't all need to be in one place to be effective. I'll give our example of Solution Space. We've got guys working for Solution Space here in Joburg, some are in Pretoria, some are in Harare, someone is in Canada, someone is in Nyanga. And we're all working collaboratively, and we've done work for clients all over the world as well. So that's my 2 cents on that question.
Godney, thank you so much. I'd like to relate to what you said, you know, just about opening a certain page or going on B-Forward and, you know, you're clicking for a certain car, then the advert follows you everywhere that you are up until a point you interact with it. So if businesses could get to a level whereby, you know, our adverts follow, if they're going to inquire anything about, let's say, VSAT services, then our Utande advert follows them wherever they are going until a point they interact with it. That will take businesses on another level. In retrospect, thinking about it, just going to the tourism sector, Frank, is it something that you have also considered for the tourism sector to have those type of adverts, that type of digital relevance, whereby should someone just inquire, you know, about a certain space or a certain setup, then it follows them everywhere. What have you done to maybe hop onto that digital relevance and space?
Yes, thanks, Chibo. As I mentioned earlier on, it is imperative now that the tourism purveyors of the tourism services hop onto that IT bandwagon. As Ngoni was explaining earlier on, I think it's time that we look more into detail as more in detail as to who are we communicating with, who is our target market, who are we communicating with via those Facebook, social media channels and other channels like Enya mentioned earlier on at the beginning of the session, and it may be wise to deploy more resources towards upgrading that, because that essentially is our main communication with our customers, or potential customers.
Great stuff. Thank you so much, Frank. So, Enya, the COVID-19 pandemic. Sorry, let me just take that question again, Enya.
Yes.
Hi, Enya.
Hi, look, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay, so let me just take that again. The COVID-19 pandemic is disrupting the business world, and companies have no choice but to review their strategies, right? So what digital marketing and communication strategies can businesses use going forward?
Okay, thank you so much. I'll just try to just explain just a few for the purposes of our discussion. Some of them we've already touched on them, but I'll just add one or two issues. The first obvious strategy that's important is obviously on your social media marketing, especially the different channels that you are using. It's very important for businesses to understand the different demographics, their target audiences, and where they are, because it doesn't mean that everyone is on Facebook. Right now, if you check, most of our teenage market is actually on Instagram. And many companies they say that I don't want to be on that channel because it's on the playful side. But the moment you say that, you actually miss on a particular demographic, which is not only a buyer today, but is a potential a buyer in future. So it's quite important to make sure that when you are doing your social media marketing strategies and choose selection channels, you are always in tune with the different audiences that you want to target, and you try by all means to make sure that you are there where your targets, your audiences are. If you choose to use Facebook, I think like what Angoni was talking about, especially with the change of the algorithm, I've noticed that many companies now are using groups. I think almost all of us are in groups. Ladies are in baking groups, hair groups, and so on. And you notice that you get to see a huge audience of people who have got the same interest and the same likes. And it's quite an interesting opportunity for you to then just put in your product there, so that at least they get talking about it. So those are some of the platforms that you can use. And then secondly, I'll also talk about the issue of your content, content marketing, very important at this particular time. Gone are the days where we just talk about text, and gone are the days where we just post, pictures which do not really have a meaning. Companies now need to invest in their content, in creating videos that appeal to their audiences, in posting pictures that appeal to their audiences, as well as giving out content that is useful to whoever is to your targeted audience. That helps you build your credibility as well as your thought leadership. And as a result, our customers can easily come to you when they need to buy that particular service. The other strategies that they can talk about is obviously use of email. Email marketing, very important, but kind of neglected, especially with many corporates, especially the SMEs. But all I can just say is that many companies are always taking our information. I don't know how many times you filled in a form, you've put in your phone number, you've put in your email address, but how many times have those companies contacted you? I always wonder, what do companies do with our emails, But all I'm saying is that if you have got a proper mailing list, you have got a proper email marketing strategy, you can communicate with your customers. And the good thing now, customers are able to say, you can literally ask for permission to do that. Now with email, it's easier because as long as your customers are willing to get your information, you can even use it to sell your product. But also you can also use affiliate products like third-party parties to also advertise. I'll also talk about issues to do with mobile marketing. You can also then try to see what you can do in terms of integrating your communication strategy using that. Also then just want to relate to what Costa was talking about, the issue of delivery. I know it's not part of marketing communications, but I think that's one thing that our companies right now need to think specifically on. During lockdown, I really wanted to buy a lot of my products online, but I noticed that the delivery costs were quite on a high side. So there is quite a lot we need to relook when we're talking about digital transformation in Zim. We need to relook the issue of delivery. I know that possibly with time, as the learning curve changes, maybe you know, the delivery cost will be reduced. But I think this is also going to be a game changer, especially in Africa. Delivery costs at the moment are quite on the high side, and we are looking forward to see a change in that. So I think briefly, those are some of the strategies. There's also the issue of search engine marketing. You know, I think Goni touched on that as well.
That's very informative. Thank you so much, Enya. I feel like we've been neglecting our audience, chatting away, enjoying ourselves here. So let me just go to the question and answers. Then I'll be directing them to you guys so that you could address the questions here. So, okay, the first one, it's saying that, Ngoni, can I have your details? I need assistance in designing and developing my app. Okay, so Ngoni, that's one for you there.
Okay.
Since someone has taken interest in what you're doing. Okay, then the next one is Zimbabwe ready to do simple deliveries? Okay, I'm sure that was directed to Costa. Costa, is Zimbabwe ready to do simple deliveries?
Thanks, Chipo, for the question. I think we are. I think we are, because when you look at it, I'll give an example. I use the app, the Munch app, and I'm not so sure how the business works, but from the little that I know, it's almost like an Uber service. Like I said before, you don't necessarily need to own a fleet of cars. You know, I think technology and working with businesses like Ngoni's, where you can develop apps where you link with different people with different capabilities, and you're able to deliver product. I know of, just talking about delivery, I recently discovered an app. It's by Zimbabweans, and these guys are personal trainers. So what they did is they came up with they all have their different followings on the different platforms. So what they did is they put all of that together, and what they did, developed the website and developed an app. So their different clients are able to access them, and each one has got a different speciality. Like, let's say if it's CrossFit, or if it's Zumba, or things like that. And I feel like that's what we need to do. You do not necessarily need to own a fleet of vehicles, and they don't necessarily need to be fancy. You can, it depends on the size. If it's vegetables, a motorbike will do. How much does it really cost to put fuel in a bike and deliver veggies across town? And the thing is this: besides having collaborating with different industries, you can collaborate within your own industry. I like what Ngoni was saying, that you've got people in Canada, you've got people in Nyanga. You can do the same with, I'll give an example of a farm. I know where, in the area where I stay, I know there's a farm close by. So we've been able to get like produce from that farm. And I know across Harare, there are a lot of people with greenhouses. So now it's a matter of linking up with some of those people and saying, okay, I've got a client who's close to your area. How do you have this product? And then now it's a matter of being able to be reliable, because I think that's one thing that personally I look for when I deal with a service provider. Are they reliable? Can I trust this person that if I give them my money, that I'm going to get that product? So now it's now a matter of thinking outside the box and trying to think, okay, not only can I collaborate with people that are not in my industry, but I can also collaborate with those in my industry, because I cannot serve the whole of Harare. But if I can get someone who's in Greencroft with a greenhouse in Greencroft to serve a client of mine in that area, I have a happy client who's going to come back and who's going to tell someone that, look, Costa can deliver this product wherever you are. And the thing is, we should not take for granted these social media platforms, like what Enya has been repeatedly saying. You know, with Twitter, you can easily communicate with your clients, easily fix problems. Whenever there's a challenge, and if someone posts that, it's an opportunity for you to interface with your clients and be able to solve problems. And the nice thing about platforms like Twitter is sometimes you get suggestions from clients where they say, okay, you're going through this, why don't you do this? Or maybe they can even retweet your tweet or the problem, and maybe someone can then suggest a solution. There are many times where I've seen someone is looking for a specific book and they post it on Twitter, and you've got maybe 20 responses with people telling you different ways of getting it. Now it's now up to you to choose the solution that is efficient for you.
Alexia Chitongo, that's a very informative response, I'm sure. Thank you so much, Costa. I can see a raised hand. Let me just check who's raising their hand. So you can raise your hand if you need to ask a question. Then I'm just going to have to let the person who's raised their hand here to just ask away the question here live. Okay, let me just enable them to speak. Okay, so I've just enabled Mr. Ignatius Mpando to speak. Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Mpando. Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, Chibo.
How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Sorry, I'm using Ignatius's Zoom account.
Okay, you may introduce yourself and maybe ask your question.
Okay, my name is Neva Ncube, CEO of Dandem Tande. I've got two questions. The first one is directed to Ngoni. Ngoni, good to see you, my brother. You've spoken about the need of having e-commerce platforms. Probably I would call them digital platforms. And this is very important, especially in the phase that we are in due to the coronavirus pandemic. But more often than not, when people are to engage with these digital platforms, and in addition, I think, Chipo, you spoke about cloud computing and hosted services. The question that always comes to mind to customers is to do with their privacy and security concerns. How do we allay those fears? Because this is the new normal. How do we allay the fears that people can confidently engage with businesses using digital platforms without compromising their privacy and security? That's my first question. And my second one is directed to Enya. It's really to do with having informative websites. But linked to that, how do we encourage SMEs to move away from using Gmail accounts to using accounts that speak to their brands so that they enhance their brand visibility?
Thank you so much for those questions. We'll just wait for our panelists to respond.
Great. Nice hearing your voice, Mr. Ncube. And thank you for the question, which is a bit, it's a big one, because the thing with everything is it goes through a curve. And like everything that we do as humans, everyone goes through a certain process of learning, acceptance. After you accept something, then you actually use something. But with online platforms or e-commerce sites, there are a couple of security measures that can be put in place on the end of the service provider to help ensure that nothing happens to the customer's data, because that's what I think is the one thing that you can actually deal with. Because getting people to trust you, building confidence, that takes time, and it takes education and trial and error, and then people, actually talk about it and then word of mouth. But the one thing that I think we have control over as the service provider is we build our websites and our platforms with the right security features. For example, making sure that you have a security certificate on your website, so that when someone goes onto your website, it's written HTTPS, showing that it's secure, compared to just having an HTTP website. Also, if you can find apps or service providers for payments that you can integrate with, to ensure that your customer does not have to always divulge their banking card details, because that's what most people are scared of. They don't want to give you their banking card details because they're scared of you then accessing their account. There are apps like Apple Pay, there are apps like Google Pay, where a customer just puts in their banking details at once on their phone, and whenever they want to do an online transaction, they authorize the payment via Apple Pay, they authorize it via Google Pay, and then the website then gets its funds through a third-party app. That way, you are building trust. But I would like to agree with you. It is a learning process. It will take time, but having security measures which make customers feel confident in your platforms is one of the things that I think we can do. And over time, hopefully, people will soften up and people will start trusting these websites. Look at Amazon. Amazon at some point had the same issues. People were scared of divulging their information. But after trying it 3 or 4 times, people realized that these guys are reliable. And when you pay, they keep your details safe. You don't end up having unnecessary or unknown deductions. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does.
I'm also going to respond. Thank you so much, Neva, for the question that you asked. The first thing that I just want to say is that when you talk about social media marketing, we also talk about the need to create credibility, and SMEs need to part with a cost so that they create that particular credibility. And I'm sorry to say, Gmail doesn't really, it's good for personal interactions, but when it comes to business, it's very important that a company buys a domain name, So, and it's a good thing that at least we are dealing with an ISP here, Dande. I hope you'll be able to give people, show them the cost, that is not, it doesn't cost very much to have a domain name. And it also doesn't cost very much to have our hosting emails, because the issue of credibility is very important. If you want to build a credible business, you cannot continue using your Gmail account. You now need to then just invest in getting that particular domain ready. And especially because we are talking about international business, even local business as well. There is more credibility when people get to see that it's your domain is existing, your emails are coming from an existing domain. So I'll definitely encourage every SME, every sole entrepreneur to just make an investment in that. Chief, I think you will tell me it doesn't cost that much.
No, it doesn't actually. Thank you so much for that, Enya. Mr. Ngube, thank you so much for your questions. And thank you so much for tuning in. I've got another raised hand here. That's Carrington Ulisi. I'm just going to allow you to talk and ask your question.
Okay. Good afternoon, all.
Good afternoon, Carrington.
All right, thank you for the opportunity that you've given me to speak. My question would be directed, I think, to Ngoni Katsamba. As market leaders or as departmental leaders, as we are getting into this drive of digital transformation, which is obvious, it obviously has been rapid. How do we make sure that this doesn't just become an exit strategy in this COVID-19 era, and to actually make it a permanent strategy for businesses? Because we have made beautiful contributions I've been following acutely. There is a challenge when we push the digital front and not really looking at or embracing the cultural and behavioral changes that are coming with this COVID-19. So how do we balance the cultural and behavioral changes that are happening and the pace that they are happening at with our digital transformations, which should not be an exit strategy, but actually become permanent strategies? How do we give such a balance? Because I foresee, like, I think there's a gentleman who spoke of, habits dying in 21 days. I think that was Costa. I am used to the mall experience. How do we balance the behavioral change, the cultural change with these strategies such that we make them permanent and not only exit strategies? Because there's a risk of going back to what we have done for the past decade. How do we create such a balance, or how do we enforce that it doesn't become an exit strategy, but rather a permanent strategy for businesses, especially in Africa? Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you for that question, Carrington. And it's a very valid question in the sense that because people and businesses have not had enough time to actually think through this, because no one was expecting to all of a sudden be online. That's on two fronts, the customer front and the business front. But for me, how customers work, and this is based on our experience, customers expect or are just looking for more value. And more value comes in different ways. It can come in convenience, it can come through pricing, it can come through quality of products. But for me, what digital transformation of businesses does is that it offers a specific value that someone does not get from the traditional way of business. Someone can now make a purchase online in their home, make a payment online from their home. It is secure, they don't lose their money. At the same time, the delivery gets delivered when it was said to be delivered. For me, that's where it is. And that's how the transformation will become permanent. If businesses that take on digital transformation as a way of doing business, have more value through digital transformation. Because if someone tries your digital strategy, they make it, they go on your website is constantly up and down. After that, they try and do a payment, the payment deducts their money twice. After that, when you say you deliver in 2 days, you deliver in 5 days, the next thing they're going to do is going to go back to what they're used to and what they know works. So what we have to do as businesses that are pushing the digital front is to make sure that the experience that someone gets from your digital strategy is way better than what we used to do and what people know. That way, no one will go back, because everyone is expecting or wants everything to be easier, everything to be cheaper, and everything to be better. I personally will not drive to the mall to buy a pair of shorts if I can order them and they're delivered by my door in a day and everything goes smoothly. That's how I think we can embed this. I hope that answers your question.
Mr. Bulisi, are you answered? Are you satisfied with that response?
Pretty much. Thank you so much, Ngoni. But maybe just as a point of, just to add on, I think it is really necessary then also for businesses to create ecosystems, because for me to actually have a flawless process, we need to also, for example, payment platforms. We do have EcoCash, Telecash, you know, our local online payment platforms. We really need to create ecosystems which make this whole process flawless, because I might have a brilliant digital presence, but if the MNOs are actually not having flawless processes, then you know our delivery becomes compromised. So I think just in addition, it is important for us to create ecosystems as we are pushing for this digital transformation motive. It is important for us to actually create ecosystems and approach this in an ecosystematic manner than individual businesses. Otherwise, thank you so much.
I agree with you. Great, thanks.
Yes, we're quite agreeable. That's quite an invaluable contribution there, Mr. Bulisi. Thank you so much for weighing in on this discussion. I'm just going to quickly move on to another raised hand. We've got Ruvimbo Jewe. Ruvimbo, hi, I'm just going to unmute you so that you could ask your question. Please go ahead. Ruvimbo Jewe. Hi, Ruvimbo.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Please go ahead and ask our generals in the industry.
I'm so sorry. Like, I realized, I thought I had not raised my hand, so I couldn't stop you. You had already started talking about me, so it's fine.
Okay. Would you, hi, Ruvimbo, just maybe to thank you so much for being part of our audience.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let me just also unmute. There's a raised hand here. It's William Nyakuchka. William, I'm just going to allow you to talk. Please ask away.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, William. How are you?
Good, man. This is a great discussion, and I think it is opening up a great opportunity. I know Ngoni mentioned Amazon. Why can't we have our own Amazon here, where the shops are online, we buy, get things at home? Amazon is taking, I don't know, days to deliver, but if it is buying from OK, you can get your things delivered by end of day, and you use local payments. And I know also we're talking of payment options. You can use a different combination. You have your MNOs, you also have your Zim Switch, your Pay Now. They can also help in terms of improving those things. Then I think Dan, the CEO, mentioned, asked something on SMEs. I think it is more of the value that we are giving to these guys, because if we're going to help them to push sales, then they will then see the need to have a custom email rather than using the Gmail email. I think that would be just my comment. I just wanted to comment, not to ask questions.
Okay, great stuff. Mr. Nyakuja, thank you so much for weighing in this discussion. We appreciate your views and your comments. Okay, just in the interest of time, let me just go to the Q's and A's, the questions here. There's one from Mr. Alexio Chitongo. He says that companies like Utande, are companies like Utande ready to provide internet to each and every Zimbabwean, e.g. primary schools? Mr. Chitongo, thank you so much for that question. Yes, Utande is very much prepared to provide internet to everyone in Zimbabwe, especially the school sector. We actually have something that will unleash soon, a project that is underway, and the team is working tirelessly to have it on this platform as soon as possible. So we have a project that is directly focused on schools. You'll see more, as this is the first of many series. We'll be talking about that project for schools to benefit schools, and it's very affordable. So thank you so much for that question. We are very much prepared. Then let me move on to the next question here. It's directed to Enya. It says that, I'm sure they're just weighing in and agreeing with you, Enya, to say that I think every business will now need a proper CRM system. So they're saying that their thought is that every business will now need a proper CRM system. Would you want to maybe comment on that, Enya?
I agree. I agree. I also just want to agree with what I think is one of our attendees spoke about. I think it was Carrington. You know, the issue of digital transformation. I totally agree that as marketers, obviously we'll be focusing mostly on the marketing and the visibility element. However, if there is no buy-in from the operations, you know, the processes within a company, it will not really help much. So definitely that digital transformation should start from the top. We come up with flawless systems so that as when marketers are now selling your product online, it is something that is easy for everyone. You know, a customer should be able to pay, a customer should be able to get their delivery, and you know, the shop floor workers, there should be a flow. So I think the challenge with all our companies is that as much as for now, especially with the pressure of COVID-19, we're mostly pushing on, you know, short-term gains. How do we survive? How do we cushion our revenues? We really need to start thinking about our business processes. You know, digital transformation should actually take everything into consideration, up to the delivery systems as well, so that at least we give the customer a flawless experience.
That's correct, hey? Because customer relationship management is something that is quite pivotal in any growing industry. So neglecting that is almost like shooting yourself in the foot. Hey? Let me just go to Ruvimbo Jewe. Ruvimbo, let me unmute you there. And please, could you, okay, I've unmuted you. Could you please maybe tell us your comment or your question? I can see you've come back again.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Again, thank you so much for organizing this very insightful conversation that we definitely need to have. Mine was more of really honestly talking through as a consultant. I run a consultant called Tavetose, and one of our major clients is PayNow. Which is a online payment gateway. So everybody who's online business, they know about PayNow. One of the challenges we are having in Zimbabwe is the challenge that we've got a cut and paste. You get CEOs, directors, companies come to you and they're like, hey, I need an app now. But the process of digitalizing is not a cut and paste. It is a lengthy process. Like I agree with Simunya, who was saying you need the first thing you need to have is to have the strategic blueprint. The second thing you need to know is you need to understand the flows of your business, from customer interaction all the way through to even your procurement management. The whole organization, how it works, is really, it determines the success or failure of an online presence. Then the choice of your service providers and the realization that a good graphic designer is not a good technology person, neither is a good strategist, all in one. So I think right now in Zimbabwe, what we need is a lot of understanding of exactly what it is that we're trying to do. We have a lot of cut and paste. I've got clients who are coming to me, we put this app, nobody's downloading. There's no consideration of the processes behind. But anyway, that's just me just saying it, putting it out there, the realization that when you want to do digital, to take your business into a digital space, it is a complete process. And the organizations and the people need to be willing and able to go through that process and be willing to invest. It can't be, you can't just pay $1,000 and get a solution that will ensure that you make 1 million sales. It's a whole process. And even your employees, their attitude towards the whole process, there's a lot of change management that needs to go in there. So that's just me just putting it out there to say, look, there's need for organizations to actually seriously consider to put aside a meaningful budget, to have the right team, to understand exactly what it is they are doing, and so that they can have success. And the success, unfortunately, for Zimbabwe is not going to come over 3 weeks of planning. Unless you have a huge budget and you're willing to do it, it's impossible. Because of the budget limitations that we have, it's going to be a long process. And organizations have to be willing to take that cost, and it doesn't come cheap at all. That's just my contribution. I'm sure all these consultants that are here have had those similar experiences of, oh yeah, develop us an app. And you know for a fact, you're getting the job, you're doing it, but you know it's not going to be successful because you can even see that the organization itself doesn't even have a system in place to be able to take in those conversations that are going to be coming, or that new business that will be driven by that app. And so technology is not just a cut and paste. It's really a lot of like absorption, taking it in and dealing with it, and walking through the process. That's just my own contribution there.
Ruvimbo, this has just been very informative. Thank you so much for weighing in this discussion. Badges definitely need to be put in place, and the copy and paste won't cut it. There would need to be a lot of attitude change. There would need to be a lot of adaptation to the new normal. So you're right, it's something that we seriously have to look into as businesses. So thank you so much for your contribution. I'm just going to go straight ahead to another raised hand here. It's Mr. Brian Mudara. I'm going to just allow you to talk and ask away.
Thank you so much. So my question really, I think one thing that I noticed is when it comes to issues to do with e-commerce, most of the times we think big, like to say, I need to have a web platform, I need a website that works. How do we encourage more businesses to leverage on platforms that already exist, things like social, Facebook? Facebook Marketplace is really open for small enterprises, and a lot of people are selling a lot of stuff there. If an ecosystem, how best can we build around that ecosystem that already exists? Because creating a new ecosystem now might take a bit of time, like what Ruvimbo is saying, and you might need a lot of money to create that ecosystem. But how do we leverage on existing platforms? I'll give you an example from the comfort of my home now. I can order sneakers and they can be delivered, and then I then pay the person when they arrive at my doorstep. But to build in that on big organizations, they look at that and they say, maybe I can do business. I know I can do business on social media, but how to convert those leads into sales is something that is a bit of a challenge to business. So I'm asking my panelists now to say, how do we build that culture where people can leverage on existing platforms and we don't look for outside for particularly for small, medium enterprises that cannot afford that, but that just want to push their business online.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Mdara. Let me just direct that to Enya. He's talking about making use of the current social media platforms that are available for us already. Would you like to comment on that, Enya?
Very, very true. I agree with Brian Mudara's comments. I think as we mentioned earlier on, The good thing about social media, the entry costs are quite low. Therefore, I think for SMEs, it's always good to take it a step at a time, because I think most of the people feel they cannot do it because they start considering issues to do with budgets. However, I would encourage SMEs to just take it a step at a time, depending on their budgets. There are easy platforms like what Brian is talking about, use of Facebook, use of WhatsApp. I noticed recently there was actually someone who sent a group on, they called it a WhatsApp flea market, whereby people can, I think it was actually these informal traders who were, because of the lockdown, could not trade. So many of them now, when we're trying to see how they can continue doing business. So what I just want to encourage, especially the small to medium enterprises, is not to obviously think of huge investments, because it will take time. And like what Brian is saying, most organizations, when they look at the big chunk of the budget, especially when it comes to digital transformation, they then shelve it, they then shelve it to a time whereby the company is able to do that. But the step-by-step approach, the phasal approach of this whole thing will enable you to at least start getting the low-hanging fruits from the platforms that are easily accessible. As social media platforms are the low-hanging fruit for any organization, and issues to do with your content and so on, they can help you gain relevance.
Thank you so much, Enya. Let me switch it over to Costa. Costa, would you like to maybe add a few more comments on this?
Thanks, Chipo. Yes, so I think another part of it is your content creation strategy. So like Enya mentioned earlier, I think when you're creating content, it's not just about posting random pictures. There needs to be a cohesive message that leads to a desired action from the part of the client. So there needs to be some sort of strategy in terms of your content plan. And I like what the person who just asked the question.
Hello.
There are existing platforms that
Hello.
are there that we can already take advantage of. And I think having a content plan helps us to direct our clients so that they understand what it is exactly that you're selling. And it's easier to convert sales online. Like, I'll give an example for our business. We are a content creation business. We do have products that we give to our clients. But a few years ago, we started doing away with with a lot of physical products. And right now, the only physical contact we have with the client is the day of the content production, and that's it. In terms of communication and delivery, everything is online. We don't deliver these anymore. We don't deliver flash disks and exist online, and it's more convenient. Even when you look at the previous question that was asked, in how do we get this to not be just a fad, that something that just came and went. If we add true value and convenience, if my life is changed by your product, if my life is changed by your systems, I would definitely change my habits and transform the way I consume the content and the way I interact with your business. So I really do think sit down and having people as writers. I think sometimes people might not understand that as a business, you might need a writer, someone whose job it is to package your message in a way that a consumer can consume. You can use words that sometimes you can lose a client by just simple vocabulary, using a word that might confuse people or lose your audience. So you need someone who can be able to craft that message in a way that is easily consumable by your target audience.
Costa, definitely we need something that is palatable, right? When you're marketing your product, you need something that is of ease of understanding. You don't need to use too much jargon, you know, just like in the selling process. You might lose a client just because of just a bit of jargon that you'd have used, and you know they get skeptical. So I'm just agreeing with you there. Mr. Brian Mudara, are you answered, sir?
Yes, I am answered. Thank you so much.
Okay, great. Let me just go to another raised hand. Thank you so much for coming in to ask a question. Okay, there's Mr. Samuel Mamwadi. Let me just unmute you. Please ask away.
Thank you, Chipo. So my question goes to Enya. I just want to ask, what are the social media marketing mistakes that business should be aware of, so that, in fact, it doesn't have a negative impact to the business?
Thank you so much, Samuel. I'll just summarize some of them as they come. The first one that I just want to say is the mistake that many of us make, especially when we want to do business on social media, is to use the hard sell approach. You know, you just want to post a flyer that says, buy this, buy now. Now, when you are doing with social media, people easily get tired and really bored, and they easily just ignore your communication, especially if every day that is what you are posting. So to remedy that, you really need to make sure that you kind of come through subtly, especially using your content. Your content is the one that will make people follow you. Your content is the one that will make people listen to you more. So companies and sole entrepreneurs should invest in content. And with content, I'm saying that shows that you are more interested in your customer than their money. You share content on what can help them. You give them tips, you know, surrounding your area. You know, let's take, for instance, maybe you are selling a simple product like vegetables. Instead of saying, buy these vegetables, 50% discount every time posting that poster, why don't you share recipes, you know, about the different ways that you can cook your vegetables? Why don't you share, you know, the different benefits that you get from eating vegetables? And possibly once in a while, you then put in that element of selling. So that issue is quite important, and it's a mistake that I've seen. And then the second issue, obviously, is the issue of hiring maybe people that are not so much experienced. We have seen a lot of corporate reputation damages happening on social media. Many companies have actually felt that particular, you know, that particular issue, that you post something and you put someone who's not experienced in engaging with customers, and within a second, the thing is viral. You know, people are now attacking you as a company on how bad your customer service is. Screenshots are sent, you know, all over, you know, and I've noticed that many corporates then struggle with that corporate reputation management. So it's quite important that when you are dealing with your social media management, you are engaging with your customers, you always make sure that you put in your customer service head on. Why? Because you know that whatever you say can be viral, and whatever you say can damage your corporate reputation. So I've noticed that it's something that we definitely need to learn about. And then the third thing is obviously the issue of the type of content. I think we spoke about that as well. You know, whatever you post has got a bearing on your image as well as on your brand, and it can damage your brand. I know that we are always afraid to just invest a a little extra in terms of the type of image. But as we said earlier on, the reason why you are online, you want to build your brand. You want to make sure that whatever you are posting, when I come to your shop, Samuel, when I come to your business, I need to see the same image on social media. So I'm looking at issues to do with the type of pictures that you post. If you just take, you know, a poor phone and you just take a picture of your product and services, and it's not even appealing, I will not find that credible. You know, I will possibly then just ignore you. So I think briefly, those are some of the 3 things that I can just share for now, but I know that possibly our panelists can add on to that.
Thanks for that, Enya. I think I can also add 1 or 2 more points there. One thing that I feel most social media campaigns suffer from is a lack of an actual strategy, in the sense that people think that social media does not need thinking, does not need planning, does not need actual strategizing. So most organizations or companies end up having very haphazard or ad hoc social media content being pushed out there. A post that's put out today is disjointed from the post that was pushed out yesterday, and so on and so forth. So you end up losing your audience because people are confused, they don't know what you're talking about, and your messaging is all over the place. So that's one other important thing. Make sure you have a clear social media strategy that speaks to channel. By that, I mean, Facebook should have its own strategy. It's different from Instagram. It's different from LinkedIn. It's different from Twitter. You can't generate one post and then just distribute it on every channel that you've got. That's not the best way of effectively using social media. The other point, which should be my last point on this, is targeting. So social media has greatly improved in terms of who you can access. You can now clearly specify who you want your posts to be displayed to. That's if you promote your posts. So instead of having a post that appears in front of people who do not have interest in your products or who might not want to engage with the product, targeting is a very important aspect because it allows you to reach the exact customer who has the exact or the right amount of interest or the purchase intent, so that it's more return on investment for you because this person has a higher rate or higher potential to convert. Also because this image or this post is more relevant to them, so they will interact. So instead of putting money out there, targeting 300 million people and having like a 1% conversion rate, you'd rather put money and target 1,000 people who you know that at least 90% of those people convert. That's my contribution on that.
Thank you so much for weighing in on that question, Goni. Let me just take a question from Gama Mudariki. I hope I pronounced your name right. So it's Gama Mudariki. They say that an informative discussion, the biggest challenge is that Zimbabwe is a highly informal market. How do we then assist the informal market to tap into the digital transformation drive? Frank, would you like to weigh in on that question, please? Okay, so Gama is saying that Zimbabwe is a highly informal market, and they're asking how we need to, how do we then assist the informal market to tap into this digital transformation drive?
Thank you very much, Chibo. I may not be the best person to be answering this. I think Enya or Ngoni would have given a better thing, but a better answer. But one of the two earlier on mentioned the issue of using the highway of the cheaper social media channels and social media channels like Instagram, Facebook, and the like, and WhatsApp. So I think that provides a very good starting point to engage the informal sector as they find their fit as to how they're going to continue trading, how they grow, and etc.
Exactly. I'm agreeable with you, Frank, because I mean, it doesn't have to be something that is astronomically big. You know, you can start small. You can start with what the platforms that you have, your Instagram, your Facebook, the WhatsApp platform, like Enya was saying earlier on. So I'm agreeable with you. Does anyone want to take that, to weigh in on that question again?
I think I can also weigh in there. And I'll give an example of how we as Solution Space have tried to cater for small to medium enterprises. So the biggest challenge that small to medium enterprises face when they try to adopt online technologies is one, lack of knowledge. They don't know how to do it. One, two, there's really very few consultants or consultancy firms or agencies that are targeting them. So you end up having the small business getting a website done by a brother of a friend. They have a logo being done by a brother of a sister of a friend. And that just complicates the whole process for them. At Solution Space, what we've tried to do is we've actually staggered our product offerings based on the customer that we want to target. So for SME, we've got what we call the Business Starter Pack. The Business Starter Pack gives a small business what they need to get started online. So it comes with a brand. I won't call it a logo because they're two different things. It comes with a brand, how you should manage your brand. It comes with a brand manual, how to make sure you protect your brand. It comes with a basic website. And then it also comes with social media presence setup. And this is for a fee that is very, very affordable to an SME. And the idea is if we have a lot of these SMEs communicating properly, communicating professionally, using these technologies, we will collaboratively change Africa's narrative, because we have more and more businesses from Africa online fighting for the same space with businesses in the UK, in the USA. So that's basically it. We have to target small businesses with products that have the right pricing, the right payment terms, and the right services that they need, which will not break a bank and destroy their businesses.
Thank you so much, Ngoni. There's a comment here that says that you mentioned that delivery in Africa is still high. I think the mistake that most e-commerce players in Zimbabwe are making is they're selling their products at brick and mortar prices. Businesses need to strip away the cost of rental, cost of security, cost of lighting, till operators, etc., and absorb the cost of delivery and online payments. This is my opinion, but I'm putting it to the panel for their thoughts. So it's anonymous right there. Thank you so much for that comment. There's another, I'll just take last question that says, what are some of the immediate changes we'll see to adapt to the new normal? What are some of the immediate changes we'll see to adapt to the new normal? Frank, would you like to weigh in on this question?
Sorry, Jibo, I lost the connection there. Can you come again?
Okay, hi, Frank. So the next question is, what are some of the immediate changes we will see to adapt to the new normal?
What are some of the immediate changes we will see
to adapt to the new normal?
Oh, okay. Yes, I think first and foremost, like has been mentioned earlier on, we're going to have obviously a cultural change, and the fact that our culture is going to change in the sense that people, from the social distancing perspective, from handshakes we no longer we no longer agree to acknowledge each other that way, and then also we have to be going. We have to try and detach interaction in physical interaction in any business intercourse, or be it even on the social side of things. So I think that pretty much constitutes our main change.
Okay, great stuff. Thank you so much. I wouldn't have done any justice if I don't take this last question that just came in. It says that, Utande, can you increase your reach to the rural areas as they have poor connectivity? Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Nanganadzai Mako. Thank you so much for that comment. We just want to say that in rural areas, we've got connectivity through the VSAT platform. So we've got a VSAT broadband platform that you can connect on. You won't need any fiber lines for as long as you've got power. Our VSAT services connect anyway for as long as you've got power, however powered. So we're going to leave our email addresses here so that you can get in touch with us. We have powered a lot of people in the rural areas. The connectivity is robust and it's working. So we'd like to hear from you. Thank you so much for that. I'm just going to leave it to the panelists to just give us closing remarks. We'll start with Costa and going on to Enya, Ngoni, and lastly, Frank. If you can just give us closing remarks and maybe your telephone numbers and email addresses to leave our audiences.
Thanks, Chipo. Thank you for inviting us. And I think I also learned quite a lot from the other panelists. So I'm Costa. I'm a content creator. I run Picture Hub and Studio 57. You can find me on our website is Picture Hub, www.picturehubzim.com, and it's the same for Facebook and Instagram. And then once you go on our website, we also have a magazine, an online magazine. We have a YouTube channel where we also create content. So yeah, that's me. We're focused on content creation. That's your photography and film. We've done from social media content, web shows. We've done TV commercials, photography. I once won like an international award and was featured in the Huffington Post. So yeah, you can take a look at some of our work online.
Thank you so much, Costa. Let's move on to Enya, please.
Okay, thank you, Chido. I think my closing remarks, this new normal is here to stay. I think some people are thinking that possibly post-COVID, people might then migrate. You know, once you've tested something, you don't let go. So I think corporates, small to medium enterprises, and everyone should just make sure that they spruce up and work in terms of their online presence. In terms of my details, as I said before, I head the marketing and operations at the Marketers Association of Zimbabwe. We offer digital marketing training for individuals, you know, for those SMEs who want to learn more about it. I just invite you to visit our website, www.maz.co.zw. My email address, enyaz@mazim.co.zw. And I think my phone number, 0772-318-464. We are willing to discuss. We have got very good packages for those who just want to get the basic appreciation, those who want to go into depth, you know, with issues to do with social media and digital marketing, and those who want to even do the advanced, the type that Ngoni talks about. Thank you.
Thank you. Ngoni, Your closing remarks, please.
Thanks, Chipo. I'd like to start by thanking you for giving me the opportunity on behalf of myself as an individual and on behalf of Solution Space. Like I was saying earlier on, we are a data-driven digital marketing agency, and our passion sits and lies with Africa. Why? Because we believe that at some point we will turn the narrative. Africa will become a very positive place. And we as business owners, as public figures, as celebrities, we determine that image. And one way of ensuring that we have a good overall story is making sure that we tell each of our individual stories in the most professional way. And right now, professionalism is closely linked to technology. And so Solution Space, we work with businesses of all shapes and sizes. And I would like to take this opportunity to invite as many small business owners who are scared of working with a digital marketing agency to set up their online presence to reach out to me directly. I will personally handle your account and make sure that you get the best value for your money. My email address is ngoni, Ngoni, at Solution Space. It's one word, SOLUTION space SPACE.co.za. And you can find us on Facebook, you can find us on Twitter, you can find us on Instagram. And my mobile number is +27, which is also on WhatsApp. So don't worry about having to call South Africa. +27 718 158 656. Thank you so much, guys. And together we can make Africa great.
Thank you so much, Ngoni. Can we hear from Frank now?
Thank you very much for having us here, Chipo. It was a very great value-adding experience. And to everyone that joined us, I'd like to thank them all. My name is Frank Marembo. I'm from White Horse Inn Hotel, which is a small country hotel located in Vumba, which is about 20 kilometers out of the city of Mutare in Zimbabwe. We have a website which is www.whitehorseinn.co.zw. Also have a Facebook page, and our contact details for the hotel are +263 715 938 388. My personal number is +263 772 349 590. Thank you very much.
Great stuff. Thank you so much. And lastly, your host, your moderator, Chipo Mandala, Utande Internet Services. I just want to thank you so much to our audience, to our panelists, for affording us, this opportunity to discuss with you and sharing your invaluable views and also opinions regarding this post-COVID era. I'd just like to say that we are enabling this digital transformation as Utande, as we have the backbone to providing connectivity solutions which cater for home users and also SMEs. Please follow us on our social media platforms and also join us on future webinars. Thank you so much. Also visit our website. It's utande.co.zw. Email us on sales@utande.co.zw. We've got exciting solutions for you, connectivity, web hosting. We want to enable you during this post-COVID era. So thank you so much to everyone. A big thank you to Utande for sponsoring this. See you in other future webinars. God bless.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.